Everyone's talking about the Apple Airtag, and I thought after 2 years of leaks and rumors about this thing, we would finally move on with our lives. But here we are, still talking about it. In this video, I'll cover 2 very important points about the AirTag to help you understand in a bit more detail what is happening behind this sweet little button. I'll also share some of the iOS location settings that I think you ought to double check. You might have to go a little bit deep on this one. Don't.
That's what she said.
Right, 2 things. Number 1 is about how Apple is managing to circumvent every data privacy legislation. I'll let you in on a secret. Yes, that was a long word that I had to Google just to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. Is it working? Don't answer that. The second point is about market penetration and how Apple are using this little thing to its advantage. So even though everyone's talking about the AirTag, there is one thing that I haven't actually heard anyone talk about. And no, it's not about the stalking issue. I mean, that is a big problem as well, but that's been well covered already. I hinted about this on my Apple event recap. Apple don't do things in a vacuum, guys. Apple are very deliberate in how and when they launch products and services. There's always a reason behind every single step they take. Every smile you fake, I'll be watching you. Don't know where that came from. This AirTag is cheaper than a round of drinks at the pub. And I don't go to expensive pubs. I'm talking 29 quid. I'd probably get a couple of pints and half a bag of crisps at best. But like a very annoying neighbor, this little AirTag has pushed its way into our homes, not even taking their shoes off. They came in, opened the fridge, and currently it's over there, sat in our couch, drinking our beer, watching our Apple TV, 4K. Anyway, my point is, without thinking too much, we just set it up and thought, oh, cool. Now I can find my keys and my dog. And don't get me wrong, that is super useful and they nailed the user experience as they always do. I've had Tile for years and it's alright, but I guarantee if I lose my Apple AirTag and the Tile at the same time, I'm pretty sure I'll find my AirTag first. Apple's Find My network make it really powerful, right? No questions there. But this video is not about how great the Apple AirTag is at finding things. It's about the more subtle aspects of it. In the tech industry, there's a term called IoT. It stands for Internet of Things, or IoE, Internet of Everything. And it's been a trend growing a lot in the last 10 years. Even if you haven't heard about it, you're probably not very far from an IoT device. Security cameras, Ring doorbells, smart speakers, fridge, your car, your watch. Office spaces can use it for, kind of determining how space is being utilized. And at home, well, Amazon and Siri and Google Home, they're everywhere. All of these technologies in the IoT space rely on data to be useful. Bear with me, don't fall asleep, don't skip just yet, I'm getting to the point. The idea then is that the more data you gather about something, the better you can predict their next best action. Aviation uses masses of IoT data coming in from the airplane sensors to learn and prevent mechanical failures. It's all based on a lot of data to understand behaviors. And you probably heard the terms AI and machine learning, so I won't go into that today. And this technology is in many ways making our lives a lot easier. And Apple just found another way to learn about our behaviors through this thing. If you have an Apple iPhone, chances are you have a lot of location settings already turned on and sending data to Apple anyway. At this point, all we can do is trust Apple. And to be honest, I'm on the camp that if I'm going to get targeted for an ad, for example, and that ad is based on my behaviors and is relevant to me, do you know what? I don't feel violated. I'm cool with that. Well, a little bit, but I like it. I don't care. I like it. As long as I had the opportunity to decide whether or not I want to share my data. In reality though, let's be honest, when we're downloading stuff, accept terms and conditions, I read every word. No one does, right? But with the Apple AirTag, that choice is kind of irrelevant. So Apple very intelligently are providing a sweet little service here. But in my view, they're also getting a lot from us. They're learning a lot. Of course, I don't believe that they'll be tracking individuals, nothing like that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. For example, I used to believe that the Earth was round. I'm an idiot. The aggregated data that Apple will have about our behaviors is extremely powerful and super valuable as well. So even if you're savvy enough to turn things off, even if regulations like GDPR here in Europe or any data protection regulation across the world stipulates that you have to opt in to share your location or in your data, guess what? This tiny little thing here just managed to cut through all of that. Don't want to waste too much of your time on this, but I'm curious though, what do you think? Let me know here in the comments. Do you think I'm smoking something, or do you agree with anything I said so far? The second thing I'd like to highlight is the absolute masterstroke from Apple in bringing this product to the market. From a market penetration point of view, ignoring the non-Apple customers for now and just talking about iPhones, Apple said earlier this year that there are 1.65 billion active Apple devices in use. Let that sink in. Why is that number important? Well, the guys from Tile here a couple of years ago claimed that they sold 25 million of their Bluetooth trackers. The potential for Apple to completely squash this competition, right? It's incredible. I know we have other players in Asia as well, and Samsung just came up with their own, but the market itself is set to be worth 7.5 billion in 2025. These little things coming in at such a small price tag are an excellent strategy from Apple to dominate that market. But for me, it achieves more than that. As I mentioned, now Apple will have a lot more data about our behaviors, and whilst I'm cool with that, there are things that you can still control. And unless really needed, I'd suggest taking a closer look at these iOS settings to make sure you're not giving away too much of your data. I'll go over my settings, not only telling you to turn them off, but explaining why I've turned them off and why that might be something useful to you. If nothing else, these might help actually with your battery usage. Those of you on iPhone mini, this could definitely help you. Starting with location services. By the way, if you got this far, thank you so much. You're a legend. Make sure to like this video as well. It really helps me. Especially as a small channel, I'll take all the help I can get. Check out my other videos as well while you're here. Not right now. Wait until the end, there'll be cards and links. And if you do like my stuff, then make sure to subscribe, and I have loads more content coming up that I think you will enjoy. So when you go into settings, privacy, location services, you'll see all of the apps here that have accessed or are accessing right now your location. I only have 2 or 3 of these that are set to always, because they usually are things that I have around the house, like Hue or Tile, funnily enough. But if you scroll down right here to the end, there's a system services option. Go in there and have a look. Some of these will come down to preferences, but some of these are quite intrusive. So I thought I'd share what I do, and maybe that will help you make your own choices here. Apple Merchant Identification. I turned it off. The official wording is your phone will use your current location to help provide accurate merchant names when you use your physical Apple Card. Not needed. Don't have an Apple Card, so I turned it off. Even if I did have an Apple Card, I'm sure the merchant name would be just fine. It will come up in my bill, I'm sure. Compass calibration. This is for the electronic compass to show you which direction you're facing. I'll leave this on because I do use maps and I don't want to mess with that. I get lost as it is. So device management, turn that off. Now this is a sneaky one, I think. There's not much info about that online, but I happen to work in the tech space, and I know that when you use an iPhone for work or for school, you might want to send updates or stream apps to your device via a mobile device management system. This is quite common, as I said, for school or work managed devices. So if this is your iPhone or iPad, turn it off. Emergency calls and SOS on, obviously. Find My iPhone on. HomeKit on, but it depends. If you've got the HomeKit stuff, leave it on. If you don't, turn it off. Location based alerts, turned it off, but some people might like it because they like to be reminded. For example, you can say remind me to call somebody when I get to a specific location. That's what that uses. Location-based suggestions, I turned it off, even though Apple won't use your precise location. Something somewhere is recording your IP address, to give you relevant news and stuff. But I don't know, maybe I'm too paranoid about this stuff, but I don't need it, so I turned it off, and my iPhone works just fine. Mobile network search on, because I move around, I travel a lot, so I'll leave that on. Mobile calibration and distance on, again for driving and maps. Networking and wireless, I left that on as well. Share my location, that one I turned it off, and some people might like it if you use it to share your location with your family, then turn that on. System customization off, don't need it. Wi-Fi calling, that's another sneaky one. Wi-Fi calling works just fine with this off, so I turned it off. Significant locations. Now, this would depend on whether you use the predicted traffic routing or, photo memories, for example. And actually AirTag itself will use this if you, for example, get tagged by somebody. If someone puts an AirTag in your bag, your iPhone will alert you when you get home that someone else is tagging you. And the way it does that is by using your location. Like if you set your location in your phone as a home, or you will know your significant locations where you've been the most, that when you get to that location, it's like a safe place. It will tell you, hey, you've got someone else's AirTag on you. Either, call the police or whatever. In conclusion, don't worry too much about this one little, very useful thing, but consider how much you are already sharing and turn things off if you don't really need it. Don't share any more than what you need is always going to be my recommendation. And I'll see you in the smiling faces in the next one. Bye. Every move you make